Have you ever noticed how differently we treat praise and criticism? Praise feels good, right? And while we often see praise as something positive, celebrating others' achievements isn't always easy or natural. On the other hand, we have criticism, which we often label it as a negative thing, right? But, criticizing others has become a very common topic in everyday's conversation. Now, the Bhagavad Gita offers us a deeper perspective. It teaches us that both praise and criticism belong to the same pair of opposites. So they are part of the same duality of this world. And if we truly want to experience peace and mental clarity, we need to learn how to let them go. So, welcome everyone. Today's class connects beautifully with the themes we've been discussing previously. In our last class with Simon Haas, we were talking about how to stay steady through the waves of material happiness and distress. And now we'll continue deepening our understanding by exploring these subtle shades of duality. And to guide us through today's topic, we're joined by Prema from New Jersey. He's a Spanish teacher and a Bhakti Yoga practitioner. So, Prem, it's been a while since the last time you joined us. I'm really happy that you're here again.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me back. Um, Thank you, Colleen, for joining and listening. I must have given a good lecture last time that you guys invited me back. I appreciate that. So let's start with the Bhagavad Gita, which is entitled "Contents of the Gita Summarized." I was telling the moderator that this time I took some notes. Last time I wasn't. Uh, there's a term called like raganuga, spontaneous mood, but I realized that it's too stressful. It's better to prepare for the class. So when I was younger, I was able to get away with it. Not anymore. Okay, so we are reading from the Bhagavad Gita, contents of the Gita summarized. Krishna continues to instruct Arjuna how to navigate this very precarious place where there is like happiness, distress, heat and cold, victory and defeat, health and sickness. It's like these waves that that this world. When you start analyzing it, they um, they manifest. So, text 56 says, Dukeshu anugvida manaha, Sukeshu vigataspriha, Vita raga baya kroda, Stita dir muni uchate. And Dukeshu in the threefold miseries. Anuvigna manaha, without being agitated in mind. Sukeshu, in happiness. Vigataspriha, without being interested. Vita, free from. Raga, attachment. Bhaya, fear. Krodha, in anger. Stita, deer, whose mind is steady. Munihi, is sage. Uchate, is called. So I found it very interesting when Dr. Haas plays with the Sanskrit, and he got me like, oh yeah, it's beautiful. Like when he goes to the Sanskrit and he investigates the meaning and compares with the other things. So I'm like, oh yeah, it sounds beautiful. Translation here. One who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady mind. Oh, wait. I'm in the wrong I'm in the wrong chapter. So we're gonna do. I'm in the wrong verse. I was supposed to read the 57. I apologize. So let's jump to the other one. Anyway, it gives us a little bit of context. So see, it's okay to be wrong. Like we just move on. Okay. Text 57 says, Yasarvatra navinehas tattat prabhya subhashubham navinandati nadvesti tasya pragya pratishtita. The same Sanskrit word, pragya pratishtita, steady mind. And to save us a little time, I'm just gonna go to the purport, and then we can always go back, right? To if we need more material. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Again. There is always some upheaval in the material world, which may be good or evil. One who is not agitated by such material upheavals, who is unaffected by good and evil, is to be understood to be fixed in Krishna consciousness. So spiritual life. We say Krishna consciousness means like yoga, spiritual life. As long as one is in the material world, there's always the possibility of good and evil, because this world is full of duality. But one who is fixed in Krishna consciousness is not affected by good and evil, because he is simply concerned with Krishna, who is all good absolute. Such consciousness in Krishna situates one in a perfect transcendental position, technically called samadhi. So I'm going to read the verse again. In the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may obtain it, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. So Arjuna is understood to Arjuna is the person who is listening to the Bhagavad Gita from the Lord, from Krishna, and he's with the Lord all the time. In the 4th chapter, we're gonna see that the Lord is called transcendental knowledge, and Krishna is telling Arjuna, "You were with me in every incarnation that I appear. I can remember, but you cannot." So Arjuna is being put into illusion just so that we all benefit from this knowledge. And so in this case, Arjuna is acting like a conditioned soul, like we are. We are born in darkness. And as a matter of fact, before we go on, let's go to the prayer, because it is to get a little bit of benediction and mercy. So Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Bhakta Vrinda. Vacha Kalpaturvyascha Kripa Sindhuvya Evacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. So to all those brothers who are following, and sisters who are following the spiritual path, we are asking for forgiveness if we say anything wrong. So because like the verse say, sometimes we might deviate. The example given is when you're driving a car or a bicycle, for that matter, or a scooter, the electric bicycle, they are all over the place now. So the tendency of the vehicle is to bear off the road, and you have to bring it back every time. Excuse me. So in the same way, the mind has the tendency to deviate. So under the intelligence, we have to bring it back to the control of the we are in charge of the mind. The mind is not in charge of us. So let me go to my notes here. An inquisitive mind always is analyzing the nature of this world. What am I doing here? My the people that I love are growing old. Why am I doing here? Just now, by talking about that, it reminds me of Lord Buddha, who was protected from seeing the world, and but once he wanted to go out and check what's outside the castle. And some of you probably saw that movie. He saw like an old person, and Buddha being beautiful and from royalty. Um, he reacted immediately. What's going on? So then he saw like somebody who had died, and Buddha immediately saw like, oh no, there has to be something deep. What is this? I'm being sheltered from reality. So Buddha, so the tendency of a human being is to get into that point, inquire. Now going back to the point of the mind, the Bhagavad Gita. So the Vedas, they break down our existence, the body, very nicely in the seventh chapter, when is this Krishna is describing the nature of the body into four elements, no, five gross elements and three subtle elements. So he says that the body is made of earth, water, uh, ether. We like when we eat the food, we some fire digests, and then we can see these elements: fire, earth, um, water. But then he also said there is some elements that we don't see, and the mind is there, right? Mind, intelligence, and false ego. When somebody tries to insult us, we say, what's going on here? Uh, we react. Um, we react like, what's wrong? Why this person is insulting me? So we are like a combination of all these material and subtle energies. And the mind is one of those subtle elements that we cannot see. We cannot read the mind of somebody else. Some people can, but usually average people can't. So interesting that the intelligence is supposed to be the boss of the mind, but nowadays the mind is in charge of the intelligence. That's why we sometimes we do things that will hurt us, just like somebody who is addicted to like alcohol, for example. He knows or she knows that that will be bad for the person, but still the mind is dragging, the senses are dragging, and the senses are lower even. So we have to understand that the intelligence has to be uh, stronger than the mind. So how do we make the mind, for lack of a better word, obey the intelligence by practice? So before I go to the next point, let me see I just need to write one note, so I don't forget. As you hit your 50s, you start forgetting things. So above the false ego, there's the soul. For those who are for those who are believing the existence of the soul. So above all these elements, there is the soul, and that's the real I. So we are covered, just like if we were driving a car. I have a Honda Accord here, so I might identify in the road like with a red Honda Accord, and I clean it and everything. I treat it very nicely. But at the end of the day, if I get out, it's just like a vehicle, lifeless. So in order to pacify, going back to the point of the mind, In order to pacify the mind, we require practice. There's a Native American saying that if you have, it compares the wolves. Uh, there's some good wolf and bad wolf. You know the animal. Oh, wolves. My accent. So there's good and bad inside us. So the Native American saying says that which one will win? And the answer is the ones you feed. So if you feed the negativity, those so-called bad wolves will win. But if you feed it with positive things, the good will prevail. So we have to start looking for that positive association, how to become better, self-realization. Excuse me. And it's very bitter in the beginning because you are used to like let the mind be, do whatever the mind likes, and when you start restraining the mind, it hurts and it's very dry, and we don't want that. So, but gradually you become purified, and and the mind starts likes doing austerities and penny, that in the beginning look very bad. And so let's go to another point. So there was this king Chitraketu who attained became very advanced by practicing meditation and yoga. And once, this is a story that I'm gonna tell you about like the equanimity of the mind. There is this great Adi yogi, very special soul called Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva was in his abode, which is Mount Kailash, which is in Nepal. You can actually go to Mount Kailash nowadays. But of course, with this spiritual, material vision, you just see like a mountain with snow. So Lord Shiva was meditating, and his wife was sitting in his lap. And this Maharaj Chitraketu saw that, and he kind of like laughed, like, "Oh, look at a big renounce, but he's with his wife in there." So Lord Shiva, being beyond the, very advanced, he didn't say anything. But Parvati, his wife, she took offense and cursed him. Let me drink a little bit of water. Give me a minute. So she said, "Oh yeah, you are very advanced. What about if you become a demon? Um, somebody with tremendous spiritual attainment. Now you're gonna lose all that." So the scripture said that Chitraketu didn't budge. He just accepted it. He didn't even make like when we get insulted and we try to uh, seem like we didn't get affected. We like like we make some kind of, and we let the person know that we did get affected. Chitraketu was like, "Roop." It was just like nothing happened to him. He accepted it, and even Lord Shiva is like, "Wow, are you kidding me? You just like took it like that." Why? Because his consciousness was situated like in a spiritual dimension, in a spiritual goal. So that's the secret of how to control the mind. We have to spiritualize it. So, and also there was an example of I hear like some Srila Prabhupada's disciples saying how Prabhupada was beyond the modes like anger and happiness. There was a disciple Srila Prabhupada was mentioning that somebody had done something wrong. So you have to be willing to take criticism for your spiritual master, because that's like is beneficial for you. So Prabhupada was like kind of like giving it to somebody, and then out of a sudden somebody else came in, and Prabhupada stopped his anger, and he said, "How are you doing? How is your wife? How are your children?" So immediately Prabhupada took the anger and then talked to these devotees. And when the devotees left, Prabhupada went back to that mood of sometimes when we are angry, we cannot do that. We just like ignore whoever's in the room. And those of us who are married, we sometimes we go back and we see like, oh my gosh, I did that. I'm so sorry. We apologizing for the childish things that we have done to, in marriage life. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that? Oh, wow. So these are some examples of steadiness of mind. When you start performing devotional activities, you have to become responsible for the actions that you do. Like Spider-Man, the movie Spider-Man, the Peter Parker, Spider-Man. His uncle, he told him that with great power comes responsibility. So once you get this knowledge, you have to be very careful. There's gonna be protection, but you have to be careful how you, because you're gonna be aware, and you have to decide: should I go that way and do something wrong, or should I not do it? But amazingly, the Vedas also give us a hint of how to protect ourselves for that, and it's very nice because it's giving us the two things that the mind no, the mind acts in the following way: thinking, feeling, and willing. So these three things. First, we think about something. Let's say let's take an example. Um, we think about staying up late, right? Oh, I'm gonna stay out late. So we are thinking about it. Then we are feeling, yeah, I would like to stay up late. And then you stay up late. So the mind won. And this formula can be applied to anything something unfavorable that we want to change. So the yogi or the practitioner of yoga has to be aware, sharp. Oh, the mind is going over there like another analogy is called flirting with Maya, because there's gonna be a lot of tests for the spiritual. It's gonna be like, you really want to follow this path? Are you sure? Before we advance to the next level. So the mind is gonna be like, oh, observing something inappropriate. So then you have to cut it right there. Hey, come back over here. I don't want to suffer. So the intelligence will mature. And I see a lot of instances in my own life where I could have gone wrong, and I was so protected, and I'm so grateful, and I'm like, how did I did not act and it's because there's protection, and if you have a little bit of honesty, you will be safe from so much suffering. Uh, so the karma, once you begin spiritual life, the karma that you get is personally given to you by the Lord. You will be you can be severely chastised also in spiritual life. That was another point I wanted to make. It's also in material life. Also, there's people who are so fixed, right? I was reading the biography of Steve Jobs the other day, and that person was OC about his company, Apple. And there is some instance when you wouldn't agree with him, he will cry. He will like going to his knees and say, "Please accept the deal, accept the deal." And later on, when he was successful and he was like he had that determination, like very powerful determination to achieve, like, the cell phone, like, when he was alive, it was like the best uh, gadget that there was. Later on, he got like some kind of cancer. I think he got like some stomach cancer, liver, or the organ next to the liver. So I always forget, pancreas, something like that. That will like finish you right away. He was regretting that I was pursuing all that material knowledge, and I put my 100% of my energy into that. But now I realize that I don't know if it was worth it. But he had that determination. So the same determination is required for spiritual life. You have to put all you when you're gambling, right? I don't know how to gamble, like, with cars and stuff like that. I was never interested in that. I have other anartas, different. So they say you got to put all you your cards in the spiritual life, and it takes time and practice. And the main thing is like association. Like, there's this sannyasi who says that the all the answers for the what questions is association with spiritual people. If you want to be a great scientist, you hang around with the scientists. If you want to be a good actor, you go and hang around with the good actors. So association with birds of the same feather flock together, something like that. Um, so you have to that's the secret. So going also, like, but you will be tested in life. Like, for example, you are at work, and then like somebody just like always like looks at you like kind of like you are like a gross or something like that, and you're like, why this person is acting like that? So it's Krishna is like trying to take you to the next level. Oh yeah, you think you are very advanced? Here, take a test to see how you do. So even though you're trying you're like approaching the situation in a neutral way, you're not trying to trigger or something. You're trying to somehow, when you see those obstacles come to you, you have to understand that there's a higher mm, a higher teaching that is coming on to you. It's like, oh yeah, let's see. That happened to me when I started doing therapy, personal therapy, and in marriage counseling also. So it was when I would go there and try to open myself to a new person. It was like knives, like, and I'm like that. No, I'm not like that. But then gradually I mean, I'm surprised that people don't take therapy. I'm like, how do they live with that? In in one of my therapy, because I'm talking like that because the last Prabhu touch on mental health is very, very helpful for spiritual life. You have to add whatever you can to support bhakti. So I mean, it still hurts when you go to therapy and you like, you are like that and you say that, la, 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 but it's not as bad as before. And you realize that, oh, these people are trying to help me, and the gratitude is just immense. So, and the devotee in his last class was mentioning vulnerability, and Brené Brown, something like that. That lady, like, she said that she did an analysis, and that's when you grow, when you push yourself to a vulnerable position. Sometimes when you have to do kirtan, chant in front of the people, you become vulnerable, because you're like, okay, we gotta do kirtan, and it's always the same. But that energy is good, because that adrenaline is good, whatever, because it gives you energy to keep going. So going back, so that's a few thoughts about the mind. and we always have to be alert. There's no time when you say, oh yeah, yeah, the mind is controlled. I just remember about this yogi. There was this yogi that he was meditating, but he will see like people passing by, and he will get disturbed. So he said, "Let me go down to to the ocean, a lake." So Sorabi Muni, I think was his name. So he was meditating in the bottom of a river, but somehow there was an offense that he did. So there were some fish mingling in there, and just by looking at the fish, he got agitated. So he went out, he got married and everything. It's not nothing wrong like to getting married, but you just have to be honest. But the thing is, like, my point is that I've been married for like 30 years almost. The point is that the mind, you always have to watch out. There's not a point when you're like, oh yeah, I I I conquer it. So the Gita is indicating us that there's gonna be this. You're like in a little island. Have you seen the drawing where there's a little island? Our time is getting there, so I'm gonna wrap it up pretty soon. So you're sitting in a little island with a palm tree, and you're drinking the coconuts, and you're happy. But what when the tsunami comes, what are you gonna do? Hmm? Are you ready for it? It comes and whoosh. So there's gonna be things, and I'm in my 50s. I experience a lot of things that I would have never thought I would be able to tolerate, and always get back to gratitude. That thank you for, um, like some people might say, the universe. Thank you for uh, the divine mother, and we as devotees we say Krishna, which is God. Thank God for the test, and it's always good at the end because you realize like this was done for your own purification and advancement. And yeah, so let's read the verse quickly again, and if anybody has some comments or questions, I can take. Um, it says, in the material world, one who is unaffected by whatever good or evil he may attain, neither praising it nor despising it, is firmly fixed in perfect knowledge. So that's a little bit of what I could try to contribute.
Thanks so much, Prema, for your time and for bringing all these topics to discussion. If you allow me, I'd like to highlight what you said about us having this duality inside of us. Like when you gave the example of the wolf, like there is the good wolf and the bad wolf inside of everyone, right? And well, beginning from the fact that we're spiritual souls in a material body and that the body is different from the soul itself, and this duality also manifests in the way we think and we perceive external situations, right? So, for example, the topic like when we say, okay, I feel good when I'm praised by others, but I don't really like when I'm criticized. So, I would like to ask you, how have you dealt with these emotions? Because, it's in my personal experience, it's like I cannot control feeling a certain way in one of these situations. So how can we deal with these internal emotions? It doesn't matter if we don't do anything, to damage the other person, or if we don't express it, but internally, how can we, manage all these emotions that come about when we're praised or criticized?
Hmm. Yeah, very good point. So one way you can do, like, remove yourself from that position. You can remove yourself. If it's too much, you just go, and you can curse over there. Like, yeah. But also I think some of those things have to do with our childhood impressions, how we were triggered by our by our relatives. So that is, the little child inside us is the little child is being triggered. So you can talk to yourself, kind of like hold yourself and say like, when I mean, I don't know if it applies to you, but it might apply a little bit. So you can, like embrace yourself and say like, I'm different now. Like like that used to affect me, and I felt like that, and this triggered such feeling. But now I'm the adult. I know how to take care of myself. That can be one thing. And these things I like from many therapies that I've done. I learned those things. Um, and but still there is like some triggers like you can also learn how to put limits, start saying no. It's very hard. So my mind was blown away the other day about people pleasing, which we like to please everybody. And they say that people pleasing is a way is actually you are manipulating the we think that we are pleasing, well, we are manipulating the. So you can show you, as you mature and grow up, you can show your real nature. You can say no, even to your family and to your superiors. I'm sorry, I can. Maybe next time I can do it right now. And we see those persons who are spiritual. I mean, they know how to set limits. They just say no. No. This is a not a no a non how do you say non-negotiable. I'm sorry. No. And then when they see that, they know. For example, there was very shortly I'm gonna tell you. So there was my one of my therapists. Her boss was a person who will stay herself later at work, and she was like, "Oh, Subajo, can you stay for like half an hour because we have to finish that? Can you stay? Is your boss? She's paying you or he's paying you? Yeah, sure, I will." And then like again and again, but she tried to do that to me once because I was working in her school, and I was like, "No, I have to go." Okay, have a good day. So immediately, because I learned about that. So you have to learn how to put limits. So that's one of the things that come to mind. I mean, I probably some other things will, and and you have to, because you have to be honest to yourself, and it takes time. Sometimes we are like, we want to look nice, like I gotta please that person, I gotta please that,
Yes,
it's
I think we do that a lot, not to feel that the other people won't like us. Well, in
yeah.
my case, I used to do that a lot because I felt that I don't want to be seen like I don't want to help, or that I don't want to be seen as not a good person by others.
Yeah.
So yes, you're right in that point you're making.
And as you grow older, you're gonna have less energy, so you have to prioritize your time, and sometimes like the one you were before to the one you are now is like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, that's yeah. So Colin is saying, lovely class. I'm flirting with Maya. Oh, so that was funny because that was from a lecture. So the person who was giving the lecture said that, oh, Prabhupada said, the problem is that we are not afraid of Maya. We flirt with Maya, and I didn't know that word. I was like, so I raised my hand. Hey, what's flirting with Maya? So flirting is kind of like vacilar, right? To vacilar, to oh, let me check it. And this is dangerous because thinking, feeling, and willing, right? The mind. So you are flirting, you're thinking of doing something, then you feel, and then you cannot stop. So as soon as you start flirting, you have to like, whoops, I don't want to suffer. Yeah, so that's how the mind works. But there's you can watch some videos about this Gabor Mate is a very good very well said person, is always working on himself. Gabor Mate is a doctor by profession, but he's also like a therapist. I learned a lot from him. Um,
Okay, thank you for the recommendation.
yeah,
The mind is very complex. topic, right? So we have many things here, and talking about steadiness of mind is like very difficult because the nature of the mind isn't precisely to be steady. But I think listening to these topics and listening from your experience and from your
Mhm.
realization is quite helpful for everyone who's trying to walk on this path and follow the teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. So thanks so much again for sharing this with us.
I'm trying. Any mistakes that I committed, please forgive me. And I'm also learning. Like and this is a vulnerable place, so you know, I'm trying to grow too.
Thanks so much, then, Prem. I don't know, you were gonna add something before we finish?
No, that was the flirting part. Yeah, so when the mind starts flirting, thinking, you start feeling and willing. As soon as like the first stop, thinking, it's not flirting like thinking. Cut it right there. It's practice. It takes practice. And after you've been beaten for a while, you're like, no, I don't want to. So
Yes, as you said, it's something that will take practice.
yeah,
So thanks so much again for being here.
thank
And
you
well, I
so much.
hope to see you soon in the next episode.
Hare Krishna.
And to everyone who joined and everyone who's watching later, thanks so much for being here. I hope that you can find these lessons interesting and helpful for your own daily practice. And well, as we said at the end, it's a matter of practice. I invite you to continue deepening your understanding of the mind and of all the topics that are touched in the Bhagavad Gita by joining us live every Monday at 7:30 p.m. EST and Thursdays at 8 a.m. We have international speakers who are more than happy to share their knowledge, their realizations with all of us. And I invited to take advantage of that. Of course, as always, you can follow us on our Instagram account to get the class schedules, not to miss any special content that we're going to be posting on our speakers, on the questions. And if you have further comments or questions, you can always drop them here on our YouTube channel or DM us on Instagram. I'll leave it here for everybody. It's at Ashram Talks ENG. You can find us there with that username. So, well, thanks so much for being here once again. And I'll see you on Thursday on our new episode of Ashram Talks Journey through the Bhagavad Gita. Bye bye.